Hello everyone, it's Professor Zero back with another weekly news review for Vanguard. So today is the 23rd of June, so technically Token Rambu set has been released today. So for this week we get to release and see the details for the Token Rambu set. Don't mind the background, it's having a thunderstorm back there, so don't mind it. Yeah, technically we have like the last few cards for Token Ranbu, and so in addition to with the BT12 reviews this Thursday, so I think everybody was quite excited at the moment. So Token Ranbu reviews are over, so without further ado we get straight into the news. But before that, if you do like my content and it's your first time here, you like what I'm doing, please do hit like and subscribe for more content. Yeah, so that's about it. And without wasting any more time, so this will be a very quick one. So we have cards with for Tuesday in itself, we have Azuki Nangamitsu Kiwami, so he's a Tachi card. He has two skills, both of them are continuous and on the rearguard skill. So first skill is that all of your opponent's rearguard in the insane column as this unit cannot intercept, and the second skill is that during the battle that this unit attack, if he has two or more criticals, when your opponent will guard, they have to guard with two or more at the same time. So something like the Garo Virina, or guard restrict or something along those lines. But the good thing is that he's also can, he also like seals off your intercept as well. So he's quite good for a C card. Yeah, he's technically a C card, so it's quite good. I'm not sure if how many people will try to play this, but I think it will be a very nice addition to most of the decks. Yep. And then after that we have Surumaru Kuninaga Kiwami, so he's also a Tachi card. So he has two skills, both of them are on auto. The first skill is on the rearguard circle, which is Shinken Hisatsu. When he attacks the Vanguard, he gets 5k until the end of battle, and if you did not CC during this turn, you saw +1 and CC1, so which is quite good. We technically have another counter charger for Token Rambu this set. The one is Mano Surugi, if I'm not mistaken, so very nice. He's a triple rare, so he's rather generic at most decks will play him, well, depending on space and depending on the strategies. So the second skill is also very good. When he is put on Guardian Circle, you counter +1 and draw 1 card, so good for two reasons. You can technically draw and for defense purposes, or for like next turn you want like you need the key pieces next turn, is also good. And the fact that if you have he put on GSC by ruling is that intercepts are also allowed besides from guarding from hand, so it's quite great, quite good as well. So if you have a counterblast to spare, I think you can technically just draw one, so that's quite nice. So that's about it. Alright, so last but not least, the review for this week is technically Yaman Bagibi Kunihiro Kiwame Sento. So he's very good. So continuous Vanguard Rearguard, he will be considered as the Kunihiro Kiwame. So he's a Uchi Katana card. Continuous Vanguard. During your turn, if there are 2 or more grade 3s with Kunihiro in the card names in your soul, all of your front row plus 5k, and he gets 1 crit, so 18k double crit and picker. So very good. And with the auto Vanguard skill, technically the clause for all the Kiwami Sentos, which now if you persona road during this turn, then you counter +1. Yeah, so at the end of the battle that this unit attack, you just put 1 card with the same card as this unit from the rearguard or hand in the soul. Same thing as well. You get to draw 1 card and choose 1 card from your hand, call it to the rearguard, and the called unit gets power plus 10k plus 1 critical until end of turn. So technically very good. So if you really wanted to combo with, like, say for example Azuki Nagamitsu, so you can call Nagamitsu call down, and then he gets like if you persona roll, that's technically like 35k. Yeah, he technically gets a 35k double crit. So yeah, it's quite kind of scary as well. Putting like in hypotheticals with the reviews of the day, so call unit plus 1 crit, so very good. And combined with your crest, combined with like your combined with some of the order cards, I think it will be a lot of like Token Rambus pretty strong this time round. Well, technically, these are all the reviews for Token Rambu. So yeah, that's about it. So further news, upper row shows the 4 new token Danshi appearing in this booster. So we have like 4 new cards. Technically speaking, the lower 4 shows the 4 PRs revealed back in 2021 and are reprinted in this set with their own TRR versions, which is Token Rambu rare, which is technically a full art rare, and the grades are technically in their kanji. So if you ever bought the Token Rambu TDs back then, so they have like an SP version where they have a very like different illustration and different kanji on the top in replace for that. So that's quite nice. Technically speaking, Vanguard Rambo is eating good this booster set, and yeah, so I'm kind of happy to see them coming back with like more stronger cards, and that's about it. So as I've mentioned earlier, this is the TRR. We have Munechika, and then you have the rest, and yeah, that's about it. And we have Imano Surugi over there, and that's about it. 16 cards, we get the SP treatment. So we have this one. Kashu Kiyomitsu is there. So yeah, that's about it. That's the SPs. Alright, so next week we have 4 new cards, including support for Eugene and Solaron decks. I was making a joke when this was released, when they announced the news for next week. I was joking around saying that Eugene will either get Eugene and Solaron will either get a Mascus or they might not. But Solaron was way too fast as a support to get the second form. So Eugene makes sense because for me, if they give him the Hexa Orb treatment, say for example the Grade 3, the old Hexa Orb is technically regarded Persona, right? Will be the same name as the new Grade 3, like say Hexa Orb Aquamarine is the same as the old Hexa Orb. I have a feeling that this new Eugene will do the same thing as well for Eugene. But Solaron was kind of a little bit fast, so I have a feeling that Solaron might not get a Mascus. Okay, I'm just joking around when I say that Solaron usually gets Mascus, but the possibilities are there. But I have a feeling that Solaron is technically not a meta deck on its own. It's playable, it's definitely fun in its one way or another. But I have no idea what support they will give. So let's stay tuned until next Tuesday to see what's gonna happen. Okay, so these are cards of the day which I am not gonna go through. I'm kind of lazy to go through. But as you can see, you have the rest of the SPs as well. So you have Kunihiro, and then you have this one, and then we have the judges PR, official judge PR promo, and last but not least, we're going for the Thursday stream. I think that Thursday stream is the one that makes people's brain explode because we have a lot of things coming in for this time round for Granfia and Lianon support. So number 1, we have the resident of the Lavian realm, Chip Path. So he's from Stoicheia. So this time set, so these 3 cards of the day will have the Stoicheia. It's from Stoicheia. So the skill is rear guard once per turn. When 3 or more plant gauges are discarded at the same time for the cost of your ability, this unit plus 10k until the end of turn. So technically, he can only proc once, so once per turn. So he's technically an 18k booster, 18k attacker. So that's about it. He's a C card, but there's nothing much to it. This one is crazy because Bless the Blossoming Buds. So it's a normal order, and so it says this: during your turn, if you have a 5k or lower original with the power of 5k or lower original units, okay, the power base, that unit gets 10k, and when this unit attack hits, you may bounce that card back to your hand. Okay, now there are a few layers of analysis that this card can actually do. Okay, granted, the things that you cannot bounce back to hand, plant tokens, because plant tokens and Momoke tokens, because technically plant tokens and Momoke tokens are generated outside of the field, not from your hand. So if they bounce back to your hand, it will be gone. So you cannot bounce back this Rose token, you cannot bounce back Momoke, and that's about it, right? Because there are 5 or less cards. Trigger, you can potentially, what you can do with this card is that you potentially can call a trigger and then you just activate the order and you plus 10k. So that's one way that you can play around it. The fact that this is actually a grade 0 card was very, very disgusting because early, you can already proc some of the cards that you already have in the early games. Let's say, for example, Roaming Prison Dragon, which is a lot of which most people are talking about this time around. So already, if you're in like turn 1 or turn 2, you can already try to use this order and proc. I like say if you discarded Roaming Prison Dragon and you play this order and you call it out. Granted, it might not, because the skill says, the ruling says that until end of turn, all of your units with its original power, and so until end of turn doesn't mean that it gives the Vanguard this ability, and it really needs further clarification whether or not this effect applies to the player yourself, like say for example Tamayura's 5k or the Final Rush. So if it is not applied to the player, it makes sense for Roaming Prison Dragon to not get to like bounce back from the drop zone and gets 1 crit, right? So that's it. But even then, if you do play an order this time round, I think if like say Roaming Prison Dragon is already on your field, he's already plus 10k to it by this order, so plus 15k already on your turn 1 or like on your turn 2, if you really want to do that, okay, if you really want to do that. And that's how strong it's supposed to go, because you can swing for like 2. You can technically like swing for, if you have 2 Roaming Prison Dragons, you technically can swing for 50k. That's how I supposed to understand the ruling. And if their attack hits, let's say I'm taking in the examples of Roaming Prison Dragon, if their attack hits, then you're able to bounce back to your hand, and then you can discard them for next turn. So very good. And the fact that you can actually try to use this in Alpha Magic as well is also like one of the very good parts of this deck. So yeah, very very potentially dangerous. So we need to see and clarify the ruling whether or not that this effect applies to the player itself, or it's like only during your turn. But I have a feeling that because the word says that until end of your turn, which means that your board needs to have a Roaming Prison Dragon by then. So I think you have to understand that as well. So yeah. Alright, that aside, we have one of the most badass card I've ever seen in a while. So this is technically a triple rare for stoicheia, Lianon and Granfia support, Rosalium Fairy. Alright, so first skill, auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, cause you retire one of your rearguards and call up to 2 plant tokens to the rearguard circle. Second skill, when this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Granfia or Lianon in its card name, and your opponent Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you choose one of your other rearguards in the back row and increase this unit's power by the chosen unit's power until the end of battle. Okay, so let's say, for example, if I play this in Granfia, if I have about like say 5 plant tokens, plant gauges in my Noblesse Rose token. So with Noblesse Rose token, he gets 5k for each of the plant tokens gauge. So let's say I mentioned 5, so 5 times 5 is going to be 25 plus Noblesse Rose token 30. Alright, so when she attacks, she can choose that 30k power and add it to herself. Increase this unit's power. Okay, so let's say add it to herself, which technically will make her 38k. Increase this unit power. Yeah, so 38k by swinging. Either it's 30k or 38k, because like there's a different wording when it comes to like increase or like say adding to the power. But I assume that it's going to be like increase this unit power by the chosen unit's power. So let's say 30k. So she adds 30k herself, so she becomes 38k. And note that she doesn't specify once per turn. So which means that if you can attack with Granfia, like if you attack this with this unit first with Granfia, she will swing for 38. And then with Granfia's skill, you retire that 5k. I don't know, you retire that 5 plant tokens, or maybe you can retire 3, okay, for example. You get to stun her, and then she attacks again, and then she attacks and then she activates the same skill. So 5 minus 3 is going to be like becomes 2, right? So she gets another 15k. So she technically becomes 53k by her own. So which is kind of crazy in itself. If I were to understood this wording like correctly, I think she is going to be a very potential, this buffs granfia a lot. But for Lianon's sense, Lianon technically doesn't really get a lot aside from like the first skill, which is kind of like important. Important because like you can play this card during your early rush games. That's because she doesn't really require a cost. She doesn't need Soul Blast 1, she doesn't need to counter blast 1, she only just need to retire one of your additional rearguards. So if you were to play Roroa right line in Lianon, you can technically just by the time you write to your break 1 and then you just call this one and you to retire that plant token and you call 2. So you can already rush early with Lianon. So that's about it. But with her second skill with Lianon, it's the thing that most people does not really find it useful. But especially if you play in Lianon Masters, the fact that if she does attack and boosted by anything, by a plant token or whatsoever, like Dianta for example, she is technically still viable, but the fact that she needs to adds the power, because like if she needs to attack, I think Resonance Dragon could also combo with her as well, because like if she, like let's say you boosted, no, technically speaking, like if your Lianons has been boosted, I'm talking like in the sense of like the grade 3 Grand March Lianon, the TD, not TD Lianon, the booster Lianon. Let's say she swings for 8k first, okay? Assuming she swings for 8k first, then you swing with Lianon. No, I don't. Okay, that's not how it works. Okay, maybe in a sense like this: Lianon attacks first, then she stands 2 of the back row rearguards, then she swings, and then Rosalium Fairy can activate like say plus 5k to herself, and then Resonance Dragon can technically restand her, and then she attacks again, and then you choose the 5k to the back row. So technically that's how it works. That's how I could understand how the game plays. If not, then you can play Lianon Maskers, and then you try to say because she stands 2 rearguards, doesn't matter if it's a front row or back row. So technically speaking, for Lianon Maskers sense, she can technically like stand like entire column, and also like try to increase the power by her booster, or maybe by like any other effects like that, you know, plus 10 plus 5k for like for one of your 5k boosters for example. That could also be the case. So I see that there is more potential in playing in Granfia rather than playing in Lianon or Lianon Maskers. This is what I've discussed with some of my friends yesterday, like how good she is. She's very good in Granfia but not very good in Lianon. I think like Lianon, the good thing about this card playing in Lianon is that you get to like rush her early with this card. So I think that's about it. Alright, yeah, I think that's all for this week's news, Vanguard news. And then next Thursday, we have 3 cards from Dragon Empire, including the triple rare. So we are not sure so it's gonna be a very generic card. So we are not sure what we're gonna get next turn. And revealing all the Ichika Nakano cards from the Gotobun, the movie collab. So we'll see what we're gonna get, and that's about it. Yeah, we have an Ichika, the TRR, and we have Kashikiyo Mitsu TRR, and this guy, I forgot your name. Please don't jack me, Tokyo Rambu fans. I do not know Tokyo Rambu cards. Okay, I think that's about it. My final thoughts on this review so far is technically very interesting, because I felt like Lianon could. I'm not sure if Lianon gonna get the support. The thing is, in existing Lianon, which I agree with the existing Lianon, this new card doesn't really do much. But if it's meant for the new Lianon, and if she's good, that means that she can technically be playable in the new Lianon. But we have to see what the new Lianon does. So that's about it. And this new order is also very crazy. And yeah, that's it. And that's how we are going to roll. Alright, so if you do enjoy my content for today, do hit like and subscribe, and you can write in your comments how do you feel about the reviews today, and how do you feel about the whole this order card, how do you feel about the Granfia support. So if I've gotten wrong with anything, or you want to discuss anything, do feel free to just comment in the comment down. in the comment section below. And that's about it. I will see you guys on the next stream, I guess. Not stream, our next video. Alright, so that's about it. That has been Professor 095 saying